Oh my god! She dodged and he took the hit. That's crazy. If I were to start a field of study in scholarships, it would probably be the field of academics related to the study of Dead by Daylight players. Because the player base of this game is quite possibly the most bizarre player base I have ever met in my entire life. Now I know that everything I'm going to describe today is going to have somebody somewhere popping up to go, I've seen one person do this exactly 7.6 years ago in this game that I play. I don't care. I have never seen it this bad in any community. See, I think that when we're talking about what the worst gaming community is, people look only at actions and never at proportion of those actions, right? You might have one guy in Call of Duty or whatever dock someone because he got sniped from across the map with an op or whatever. But in Dead by Daylight, you will have multiple cases of doxing happen because a killer tunneled in a video game, because a survivor used shoulder the burden, because someone teabagged after a pallet stunned. In League of Legends, you'll have someone call you a slur because you beat them and you won. In Dead by Daylight, you'll have multiple instances a day of people hurling slurs at you because you had the audacity to bring a certain perk or an item or whatever the case may be, or even, God forbid, play a certain killer. And as time goes on, I want to know, there's this insatiable, almost morbid curiosity within me that wants to know why this community is the way it is. Why this community is so ungodly insufferable to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Today's example that I want to use for you on this, I want to start off with a couple of qualifiers. Number one, I understand as a content creator that shit is going to happen in regards to people wanting to get some sort of clout or whatever the case may be off of me, right? Even though I'm not particularly famous, it's not like I'm Otsdarva or Hins or anything. One thing I've learned is that if you have any sort of audience, people will do everything in their power to try to get clout off of you. They will try everything in their power to try to use you to get some sort of fame, even if it is not fame for their own content creation career. So when this Reddit post, I know, it's Reddit, just stick with me. When this Reddit post first came to my attention, I was irritated for like 20 minutes max, right? I read through some of the comments and I saw just the most increasingly stupid shit you'll see in a very long time. And I saw that the video that was posted was a 34-second out of context clip that didn't include any of the shit that actually happened in the match. And I just kind of resigned it to, well, whatever. And I also knew that I was going to get harassed because of it. I had to ban 2 separate people from stream today because they came in to try to bully me because of this post. It's very obvious who I am. This person did not censor it whatsoever. And I'm going to show you the post right now. Now, before I actually show you the clip, because I will show you the clip in its entirety, I want to give you context to what happened this match. I do not have the motivation to dig through my VODs to find this match in particular to show you the match in its entirety. Otherwise, I probably would just to give you the full context, but also, I don't really give a shit if you believe me on the context or not. That's just the reality of the situation. But basically what happened in this match is we were playing on Father Campbell's Chapel, a notoriously survivor-sided map that in recent years has developed an insanely busted setup in the back end of the map where there are 2 very strong tiles that will always spawn that allow you to change shack into main building back into shack just kind of over and over again, and it can be very frustrating or irritating to deal with. But in this match in particular, all 3 of my totems had gotten broken basically within the first 45 to 60 seconds of the match. It was very, very fast when it happened, and it was almost simultaneously. Like, it happened, like, went bomb, 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 just like one after the other, which was very frustrating. I believe Thrill was the first one to actually get cleansed, and so it kind of, like, stopped the slowdown from happening on the other two, and they got cleansed while I was in chase, and then the moment those three got cleansed, a generator popped right behind them. So things were happening very fast. Another thing I had noticed is that as survivors were getting downed and hooked, when they would come off of hook, they would heal incredibly fast, oftentimes within what felt like milliseconds. Like, they would come off the hook, and the moment the noise notification was done doing this little red cloud thing, they were healed. Just like that. Insane healing speeds were happening, and I was very confused and very frustrated. As will tend to happen, sometimes people get frustrated. I know for a fact that people don't like to hear this in the Dead by Daylight community, but streamers are also allowed to be frustrated. We are allowed to be annoyed and mildly irritated when some shit is going down. It happens. But then, as you'll see in the clip that this person themselves posted, at the end, I very calmly looked through the perks and said, okay, that's where the fast healing came from. This is where the fast cleansing came from. This is where the faster gens came from. I was calm about it, and so I'm going to show you that right now. Let's just watch the 34 seconds together. Dude, they have cleansed all three of my totems instantly. There's the healing and cleansing fast. Heal fast, heal fast, heal fast. Heal fast. Cleanse fast. How did they get the gens done so fast? Oh, there. That's how. Now, with everything being said, a couple of people pointed out when I said the gens fast, I pointed to the one toolbox, but Overzealous was also in the build. And again, also, what you need to remember is the map that we were on made it to where chases lasted longer than they need to. Now, is there personal responsibility I could have taken? Of course. And in fact, I did. That's the thing. If you watch my streams regularly, you will hear me say when I make a bad play. You will hear me talk about that, and I don't have the footage from this match, but I'm sure there was one or two times where I missed a throw and I got frustrated and I was like, crap, I missed that, I'm bad, I need to leave this person, I need to go see if I can pressure this person, but none of that was included in this clip. And the reason it wasn't included in this is because of the description that you see down here. Been running into streamers constantly using the Hen Sweat Lord Jason build, and they have been extra salty at me running Counterforce. Here's one I pulled from a streamer's POV yesterday. Now, I know that salty streamer content is like the meta in DBD, but I wasn't salty. Mildly frustrated when it happened, sure, but as you saw, I calmly went through the perks and saw what happened, and I was like, wow, that sucks. That's what happened, that's how it came across, whatever. They even mention the Linda Hand synergizing insanely well, and I'll admit, of course it does. Overzealous gives you more gen speed, Linda Hand gives you, like, giant healing speed. Obviously these all synergize well, and it's a good build. Not mad at it. But as you scroll through the comments, I'm not going to read all of these. As you scroll through the comments, you'll see people acting like I was like this super like, fuck survivors, this is all busted and overpowered and everything. And it's incredibly insane to me how, like, this person says, cries because survivors won't drop dead. I don't know when that happened. I never did that. I never cried. I never said, crap, why won't these survivors just let me win? This person says, I have to blame something, otherwise it's my fault and I don't like that. That never happened. I never did that. This person said, not the heal fast while hovering empathy of all perks. Actually just saying shit for the sake of it. When I very clearly hovered the resurgence and botany knowledge first. And then I also hovered the Linda Hand as well. The empathy just happened to have my mouse go over it while I was saying heal fast. I don't really like this. This person says, can't gen rush, can't heal quick, can't run second chance perks, can't run windows of opportunity, can't run exhausted, and now can't run totem cleanse builds. And my question is, when did I say or even imply that you can't do that? I never did. I never did. In fact, again, I calmly went through the perks and said, yep, that's where that came from. That's how that happened. That's where that happened. Never once did I imply these perks need to be nerfed or that they're busted or that survivors can't run them or that there's something bad about survivors. You're starting to get the picture, right? You're starting to get the picture. As you scroll through these comments, you're starting to see how all these people just kind of take like this internalized personal attack over me calmly looking over these perks and verifying why certain things happened. Again, it's a 34-second clip of what was, I believe, about a 6 to 7 minute match. Might have been a little bit shorter, might have been a little bit longer. I don't remember all the details because it happened like 2 days ago, and I've played roughly, 40 matches since then. So it's really one of those things where the community is so used to their tribalistic arguing that the mere act of pointing out perks that cause certain things to happen within the match is now considered this salty, whiny bitching, and I didn't take any responsibility and all that. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not personally offended that these people are like saying all this dumb shit. I'm just pointing out that this is one of the examples of how the Dead by Daylight community is just insufferable. Just a bunch of insufferable people who are so eager to go to war and act superior to someone else that they will just say shit that makes no fucking sense. They will constantly belittle and berate me. And this isn't the first time this has happened, right? My claim to fame very early on in my streaming career of Dead by Daylight was when I was in a very bad mood. I was dealing with a lot of grief because it was my father's birthday and he had been gone. He had been dead for about 2 or 3 years at that point. And I was very frustrated and mad, and I had an outburst of anger. And I was clipped out of context and put on Twitter for people to attack my appearance and bully me for my voice and all sorts of other things. And no one ever stopped to think that maybe this was just a bad moment. And the thing is that I made a video about this ages ago, about the way that the Dead by Daylight community treats streamers who are frustrated or irritated in the moment. Does anybody remember the Lucky incident where I believe it was A-Run who was doing some sort of challenge on Billy, and he got fucking out hitboxed by Billy's hitbox, which as an ex-Billy main, most Billy mains know sometimes you will see a chainsaw hit a survivor and then it didn't because hitboxes are dumb in this game. And he called the guy Lucky, and then this dude went on a fucking Twitter tirade clipping A-Run and trying to cancel him over this shit. And in general, I think that this is just I think that this is just a further description of this community and the way they're treating me for being mildly frustrated when several things happen very fast. Again, this person didn't even show how fast people were being healed off the hook, which if you look at the perk setup, you can clearly see why the fast healing off the hooks were happening. Between the Linda hand, the botany knowledge, the resurgence that was there. Somebody even pointed out at one point, like, oh, the killer had 6 hooks among 4 survivors, that's why the gens popped fast. But they don't think about what led to those 6 hooks. Was it that I just wouldn't let up, or was it that there were so many resources that I didn't get the chance to catch survivors efficiently? Are there improvements I could have made? Probably, most definitely even. But that's not the point, is it? The point is that this isn't about mistakes I made or whatnot. This is about the fact that people took a 34-second clip that was purposefully put together in a certain way. They took the saltiness of the caption and then they just ran with it. They ran with it in a way that just truly shows how absurd this community is in the way that they treat people who have minor instances of frustration. I was not salty. I did not ever once say or even imply that the survivors were bad people for running this. I did not say that survivors shouldn't be able to run this. I didn't even call for any of these perks to be nerfed. I've never said any of that. I simply pointed out why certain things were happening very fast. And the truth of the matter is a lot of people are like hung up on the toolbox and like, haha, the one toolbox. But they ignore everything else that I'm talking about. Because in the courtroom of the internet, the people of the internet are the harshest judge, juries, and executioners out of any courtroom to exist in the history of ever. The people of the internet are so desperate to forget their own misery, forget their own self-insecurity issues, and forget their own anger that they want to feel better than other people. This is just a universal truth of the internet. But I see it highlighted in the Dead by Daylight community, and that is why I decided to make this video. It wasn't that I was offended or that I wanted to clear my name or whatever, because the reality of the situation is that regardless of this video, some of you are still going to say that I was salty and angry and what the fuck ever, and that's whatever. I just don't give a shit. I know for a fact that this video will not change anyone's minds. Every single person of these 336 comments that was against me and yelling at me, probably maybe 4 of them are going to change their perspective if they see this video. The rest of them are going to call me a whiny entitled killer main and a bitch baby, and I'm offended and whatever the fuck makes them feel better, and then they're going to move on with their day. That's how the internet works. I've come to accept that. But I make Dead by Daylight content. I make Dead by Daylight discussion content. But the biggest thing that I want to do is I want to talk about this almost superiority complex that the Dead by Daylight community has, right? There's no such thing as, hey, what did the rest of the game look like? Hey, why is this clip so short? Hey, you know, he's got a point. Your perks did allow you to cleanse things super fast. No, everything's like, he's running the Sin Sweat build, which, by the way, I love how people like to, assume motivations in this entire thing. Like, there are some people in the comments who are like, oh, he just wanted to, you know, free wins or something like that. And no, I was actually running the build because one of my chatters suggested I run it for a couple days to see if I liked it. That's it. I mean, I like Hens. I'm friends with Hens. I can message Hens right now. I don't know if he'd respond. He might be asleep. It's 10:51 at night for me. I don't know what's going on over there in Germany, but you know, I can message Hens right now and he'd respond to me. I could probably call him and he would respond to me. I'm friends with Hens. But guys, I don't worship the man. I don't follow his every beck and call, and I didn't really care for this build. I don't like Pentimento as part of the Hex build. I much prefer Undying. But I was testing it and I was trying to learn how to utilize it, and that's what the match was. It was a learning experience. So you caught me in one of the matches where I was trying to figure out how the build functions and how to, like, efficiently utilize it. Congratulations. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to make a post saying that streamers are being extra salty at you running Counterforce, you should probably find more than a streamer calmly explaining why certain things happened, why hexes disappeared so fast. But maybe that's just me. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. As always, a great big special thank you to my channel members listed on screen now. You want to find out how to become a channel member today, get awesome perks like seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.